Plot's about the last thing that comes to me. In fact, if it was up to me, and I didn't have to worry about people reading, my books would probably have no plots. But usually I write characters for months and then say, go get me a story. And I send them off to get me a story. And most times they're really cool and they come back with one. Every now and then they don't, and I have a failed novel on my hands. But most times that's how it works. So I go with sort of character, I start to figure them out, I start to figure out my location, I start to figure out things like that. That's why I personally, with the exception of maybe Shutter Island, don't think I've written an original plot in my life. I just think it's about the 9th thing to occur to me. I think a plot should be like a car. A plot should be serviceable. It should carry you on the journey. The book is the journey, the plot is the car. And I don't really care if the car is a Ferrari or a Honda. I just want it to have 4 wheels and a drive shaft and plenty of gas. The book that had the greatest impact on me is Richard Price's The Wanderers. And I read that when I was 14, and it was the book that made me realize I could write about the type of people I knew, the type of people I saw around me every day. Until then, I thought you had to write about like kings or wealthy people, or I just didn't realize you could just write about working class people going through working class problems. The television world, in the world that I work in premium cable television. That is very much a novelist's genre, because we're thinking in terms of 12 episodes per season, which is a very novelistic idea. 12 episodes at 50 pages per episode, that breaks down about 600 pages. That's somewhere around the realm of how you think as a novelist. So it's very easy to go from being a novelist to writing for television. Writing for movies is very much like being a short story writer. You have to get in quick, you have to get in very clean and concrete, and you have to get out quick. So I think I'm less enamored of writing for film than I am for writing for premium cable television. It's also how I was trained as a writer for the screen. I was trained on a television show called The Wire. I wasn't trained by writing films. I got plenty more than my own work. I'm not exactly a big fan of my own work. Favorite crime novelist, James Lee Burke. James Ellroy's LA Quartet, I think, is a pretty amazing achievement. James Crumley, Last Good Kiss is probably my favorite American crime novel. And then there's just a host of people who do it really well. I mean, currently, George Pelecanos is working at a pretty high level, Michael Connelly, Laura Lippman, S.J. Roseanne. I mean, I just think there's a lot of really great writers out there right now. And then you go to the old dead guys too, you know, Hammett and Chandler, and Robert B. Parker was great. Elmore Leonard was a huge influence on me, although I don't consider him strictly a crime novelist. I have a few. It's kind of like asking you to choose between all of your kids, if you've got, in my case now, I have 11 children. But I would say Mystic River, The Given Day. Strangely, The Drop. I'm a big fan of The Drop, except for the title, which got kind of handed to me by the movie. But I like that one a lot, even though it's a very slim novel, and it came from a pre-existing script. But a picaresque, maybe. I would think some sort of Bildungsroman, I guess. Do they have sections for that anymore? No. So I guess I'd be definitely in fiction, 100% in fiction. I'm a writer. I make stuff up for a living. You can't trust a thing I say, and that's the way it should be. What's in the future? I have a novel coming out in March, which is the finale of a sort of loosely connected trilogy, a historical trilogy. I began with The Given Day, continued with Live by Night, and then this is the finale of it all, called World Gone By. All the books were written so that they could be read completely out of sequence and completely as standalones. But this would be for people who want it as a standalone, great, but people want to see how this family saga all comes to an end or comes to a head. This is the one.